The new class can don the Hatred's Heritage cosmetic set, so we want to provide players with additional time to obtain it. What we're talking about here is the cosmetic available through the Phantom Market, and obviously the new class is the Shadow Knight, and perhaps you haven't heard that yet, but that will be coming in July. So to be clear, this cosmetic is already available in game. You get this through that Phantom Market. There is a cost unless you're lucky enough to roll this on your first try. However, they're saying that they're extending the period in case people have interest of it. Unfortunately, there's no preview here. I was really kind of let down by that. There's a preview for all the other classes when you go into the Phantom Market. However, I don't see anywhere, at least an image at this point. It would have been nice, in my opinion, to kind of promote and hype that. But anyways, these patch notes in general are fairly short, so let's go ahead and get through them. After that, we'll go into today's topic. The update itself is in reference to emerging victorious in the Trials of the Hordes, which is going to be a new limited time event. Once we get past these merging servers in East Asia, you can check the list if you're going to be affected by this. We get this new event. Now, the Trials of the Horde seems pretty straightforward. In fact, it's actually a PvE event where players are going to be on opposite sides, and you can see that on the minimap where one player will be here, one player will be over there. And the idea here is to actually kill the demons, which will then start to resurrect on the other side. I believe that this is going to be similar to an event that's in the original World of Warcraft, Classic WoW as it may be called at this point, or Vanilla. And essentially as you kill mobs, they're then going to kind of spawn or move over to the other side. However, in the original WoW raid, you're trying to balance this so that you don't get overrun. But in this particular event, what you're trying to do is actually overwhelm your opponent and win. So this event, I actually have a love-hate relationship with this, but I don't know if we have all the details. In fact, I'm kind of hoping we don't. So let's go ahead and take a further look at this with some of the text that they've provided. And this is basically saying as you put the sword to demons, more enemies will spawn on your opponent's side and vice versa. Whoever can overwhelm their opponent with hellspawn, causing them to lose all their life or has the most life by the match's end will win. So like I said, pretty straightforward. There's some rewards, a ladder system in which we're going to try to climb up for additional rewards. And I like all this. This seems fun. In fact, the event itself seems enjoyable. A PvE contest 1v1 seems really engaging. And just overall something that we haven't seen in the game yet. What I don't like is there's no mention of combat rating, no mention of Paragon level, no mention of resonance, no mention of balance, other than you'll be pitted against players of your own class. So you won't have to go against other classes, which is going to be fair to some degree. And what I'm hoping is missing from here is that maybe you'll be pitted against players at the same rank. Okay, so you start off, and if you're in bronze, that's okay, it'll be kind of loose. But as you go up this ladder, you should be faced against other players that have reached those ranks, in my opinion, to kind of keep some balance here. Otherwise, you could just have a player of 9,000 resonance versus a player of 1,000 resonance, and that's not really going to be fun for either side, in my opinion. But we'll see how this goes out. Like I said, hopefully some missing information, but we'll find out as we go. Players will compete against other players of the same class. As I mentioned, matchmaking for Trial of the Hordes is cross-server. We hope you're ready for fiercer competition, but again, no mention of anything other than that. So we're cross-server and same class. Is that it? Well, hopefully not. Slain monsters can drop combat glodes. Use these to turn the tides. That sounds fun. There's a little bit of RNG here. You could get something really powerful. Slicing through the demons will spawn vigorous elite enemies on your opponent's sides. Again, we're just trying to overwhelm them. All gear, legendary gems, badges, and other bonuses can be used. So interesting that they put badges here because badges don't apply to anything in PvE up until this point. So this is kind of being considered somewhat of a PvP event. Now, gear and legendary gems is great. This is going to allow players to customize builds. It's going to actually create a lot of content as well. This will be something that I can share my point of view from my own class and also videos from viewers and the community and so forth. If people think they have a strong build or want to share what they're using, I'll certainly accept any video for this as people want to help cover classes and show anything that they think is worthwhile and kind of spreading and getting out there to help everybody. I'd be more than happy to do that. So excited about that aspect as well. A bounty of additional rewards, and this is just some tasks that you have in game and will earn rewards on top of those rewards from the ladder. So looks like this is going to be something you're going to want to participate in just to kind of pick some things up. Now the scrap here isn't enormous. The gold isn't enormous here, but again, you're just doing this essentially to kind of pick up these other rewards here, which does show some dust, some purification shards. So these are things that it seems like we're probably going to want. It looks like a legendary item here, and potentially these get better because this is only bronze and the beginning of silver. So something I think everybody's going to want to participate in. Season 15 Battle Pass, and this is called Bronze Wardens, and we have a preview here and of what appears to be the cosmetic, or I imagine is the cosmetic for this battle pass. Other than that, there isn't too much to add here in terms of what else is going on. Returning events, the Hungering Moon, which we've seen several times. You log in, you kill X number of mobs, and then you get up to 3 tasks that you can draw, and you can activate these. Sometimes more than one can be active at a time, and you get some tokens for completing these, or the shards, whatever they're called, excuse me here, and you go through and then you can claim rewards, and you get to choose which rewards you want, and if you go through and complete all the tasks, there's actually enough to get all of them. So Hungry Moon is pretty well liked because it basically gets completed by anybody that's doing dailies, including their dungeon routine. Shady Stock, this is the one through Yakin. This is a really popular event, and I said the last time this came back, I think everybody's excited about this. You, again, do some really simple tasks, but in this case, you get rewards for legendary items, set items, and it's just so simple to complete. It's always nice to see this one come back. Feature update, Corvus Expedition has been revamped, and I wish there was some more information here, but we'll see. Previously, 8 players were needed to begin. Only 4 players are required now. I assume this is because less and less people are doing Corvus. Now, Corvus Expeditions now reward more gold, experience, and items. Corvus was typically regarded as a waste of time. What I wish they had given us for info here is what these additional rewards were, because I wish there was something here to incentivize players to want to be immortal again, okay? I can't even tell you what the turnout for Corvus is at this point because I haven't been an immortal in so long, okay? It's just so much more favorable to be Shadow for the majority of players. Not saying there isn't a reason to go Immortal if that's something you want to experience or if it's something you enjoy, whatever the case may be. But in general, if you're just looking to be time efficient and get the most out of what the time you invest into the game, being a Shadow is highly preferable. The side quests, the daily cap for side quests has been increased from 16 to 24. This is nothing but good here, right? This is just a pure buff. This is going to allow you to get more dust, which is always a much needed resource. It might be the most precious of all salvage materials. So this is just going to help you. Cursed Towers. And we've had a few quality of life changes here. For more information, each tower will have a corresponding number that is displayed on the map to quickly identify them. The map filter will now display how many results your filter selection is going to yield. And previously, the contested, occupied, and unchallenged tower statuses were selected by default. This didn't reflect the default state of the map, as the map by default shows all the towers. Now the filter opens with all tower statuses and buffs selected just to accurately parallel what is shown by the default on the map. Honestly, all 3 of these should have been in the game when the Accursed Towers came out, but at least we're getting them at this point, so nothing but good there. Clan and Shadow Clan tabs. The number of towers a clan currently occupies will now be displayed next to their name. It just kind of makes me wonder why we're getting this rather than getting some of the bugs that are in the game being corrected or worked on or anything to that matter, really. This is nice, but I'm just not sure how useful it is overall in the grand scheme of things. Dread Pilgrimage, another one that has me shaking my head here. You no longer need to use the Purify button to claim each reward. It will now be done automatically. The Dread Pilgrimage is a limited time event, so this isn't even going to come around again. So we've actually spent time and resources on making a slight tweak just to make it slightly easier when there's so many other things we could have fixed. The text descriptions for each challenge have been updated for additional clarity. Hatred's Heritage Phantom Market, and this is what we opened the intro with here. It's now going to be extended almost a week here so that you can have additional time to get this cosmetic if you like, since it will be able to be equipped on the new class when it comes. So that's what we have for the update here. All right, with the update notes out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with today's topic, which is set items. And it's really more of a question than anything, and it's how do people feel about set items with the new cadence that's been set for the increase in difficulties. What we have is the changes to Server Paragon, which now go up 10 per week, and each difficulty rolls out after 100 levels, which means that we have 70 days to acquire the set pieces we're looking for, get decent rolled ones, start pre-farming the next difficulty, and move on. I'm actually Paragon level 829, almost 1/3 of the way through the difficulty. I'm very active in game, as many people know, and this is what I have for set items. Now I do have some set items equipped as well, so keep those in mind here too. But I have only one complete set, and I save the vast majority of every single set piece that I find so that I can show off builds, variations of things, test things out, try them, whatever the case may be. So I have salvaged very few set items overall. Just the really, really terribly rolled ones, things that I wouldn't even want to equip for one reason or another. Essentially, this is probably 90% of what I've found. and again, plus the ones that I have equipped here. But this has taken a tremendous amount of time, and none of these, I think I have one, maybe two triple stats. So if I want to gear for PvP, or I want to push combat rating for challenge rifts, or whatever PvE competition that might be coming out, like we're seeing with the limited time event, well, this is kind of a problem, right? There's really no way to find this. In fact, it's more luck dependent than anything. You got to get RNG to find a boosted dungeon. You got to get RNG to get the slot drop that you want from that dungeon. You got to get RNG to get the right socket color. If it's a ring, you got to get RNG to hope that this might be a triple stat or have decent combat rating rolled with the new system. I mean, there's just all these factors. It's just RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. And before you know it, in 70 days, you've thrown into the next one. And anything that you did have good luck with is just thrown out the window. So in my opinion, this system needs some overhauling. I don't know what the right idea here is. There's a lot of people that want to see something like essence transfer, where you can take a set item of one type and transfer that onto another one that has good rolls, and some other kind of variations with that and so forth. You could reduce the wisps needed to craft. That would be a benefit. A lot of different directions you go with that, and I don't want to waste too much time talking about that, but feel free to leave comments if there's a method that you feel may be best. I just think that this needs some kind of revamp now that we've had the difficulty and the pace at which the difficulty changes been updated, right? Because we had like Paragon 600 to 900 for the last Hell difficulty, 300 levels, which is actually the entirety time that we're going to have from Inferno 1, Inferno 2, and Inferno 3 combined. So seems like the set items probably should have been tweaked at the same time. So just want to kind of mention that. Last thing I want to mention is something I've had a couple of questions about from people who are going through their inventory and they see these keys. They're wondering what these keys are. All right, well, if you read the description, collect all 3 treasures of celebration keys from the Justinian's Favor event. This is a limited time event, and this event is accessible through your menu. And the part that a lot of people are missing is once you have these keys, this chest lights up. You click on this chest, you'll see that with all these keys you have rewards, including a legendary gem, and you can just hit the navigate button here and you go to Derek and you can turn these keys in. Okay, so that's how you get rid of these keys in the inventory, and they actually are going to give you a reward. Use your keys, deliver them, and here we go. So that's how you get rid of them. This is what you get out of it. In fact, I get 3 legendary gems, so make sure if you have these keys that you turn them in during the limited time event. I got a little bit more farming to do before I go back to hitting dungeons, but as always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.